What?
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to YouTube sensations that are sweeping the nation and beyond. And she is Natural Queen. She is Tari. They are QT Gang. What's going on, folks?
Hello. How you
Hi.
doing?
Wait, is it gang, gang, gang? There we go.
Yeah. Hey,
There
you
you go.
got it.
Yeah, see, I did it. Never mind my ashy ass elbows, but there you go. We got it. We got it. But how are you folks? I mean, it's afternoon in your neck of the woods. It's I mean, in the like Fiji, we would say it would be tea time, but it's lunchtime for some over where you guys
Yeah.
are, right?
Yeah, it's 12. It's like 12 in the afternoon.
So, how are you guys feeling?
We're feeling great.
I just woke up.
She was sleeping in. I had to wake her up.
I was like, wake me up at 11 because I wanted, to be on the live. So she was trying to wake me up. I was like, give me 5 more minutes.
Just
5 more minutes turned into 20.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. When these things feel like they got cinder blocks attached to them and you can't keep them open, ain't nothing. Ain't nothing. Yeah, I actually did that because I can talk a little bit. I can talk a little bit, right? But I'm not good at the math. I'm really not good at the math, right? So, like, I actually thought we were doing yesterday. See? Yeah, I thought we were doing yesterday, and I was like, I got up in, like, a panic. I was like, oh, no, it's like, whatever. And I literally woke up at 8:45 my time, which would be 11:45 your guys' time. And I thought I was, like, missed it. And then I called you, like, oh, I thought we were doing and I was like, see, I'm not good at math or telling time.
Oh, it's all right. We're doing it today. Which
Yes.
was good because we had like
a lot of stuff.
a lot of stuff to do yesterday. So if we would have did it, it would have been rushed. And
Yeah.
we don't like to rush things. We like everything to go smoothly.
Smooth.
So
Smooth.
but it's a good thing we did it today.
Smooth as eggs, man. Smooth as eggs. No, but actually, what I want to get to is like the creation of QT Gang. And for those who haven't followed you guys on social media, which I have basically put all the links right here in the description. But I mean, how did the creation of what you guys do on YouTube, on TikTok, Snapchat, and the rest of it, how did that come about?
Okay.
Well, okay, this happened around the time when COVID came out, like what it was, 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on where you are, because I remember my wife saying October 2019, hey, shit is weird, and then the shutdowns happened about March 2020. So depending, you're right either way, whether it be 2020, 2019, either way.
Mm-hmm.
So it started, I was like, we wasn't doing anything. So I was like, we've been seeing everybody was making, channels. And we was like, hey, like, we funny and stuff. We be doing stuff like that. I was like, we decided to make a channel.
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't know anything when we started. But people, YouTubers, they was good. They was helping us out and everything. How to edit, how to put videos up there and everything. And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to do this because it was like because the numbers wasn't going up. I was like, how? But you got to be patient and everything.
Yeah, we almost quit like twice.
Yeah,
because we felt like the content that we were putting out should have got more views or whatever. And so we came up with the name. That's how we came up with the name. We was like, well, let's merge our name. And I'm Queen Tari, so it's like
Q and T.
Yeah.
And then we said QT Gang.
Yeah.
And then everything else just followed the gang.
Yeah.
Like
she actually made that up at the next meeting.
I made it up probably like I think last year, probably something like that. And everybody like it. It's like, how you doing, gang? Some people do it like this.
Some do it like this. Like,
but yeah, it's good. Like we're staying strong like right now.
yeah.
And then oh my gosh, October, like what it was?
Oh,
Vlogtober.
Vlogtober.
That's when you got
Oh,
the
they
vlog
like the
every
filters.
day. We had to vlog every day. That was the Vlogtober. And I was like, oh my gosh. But we got through it. We got through it though.
Which, I mean, that's the thing, obviously, there's a lot of things that unfortunately didn't carry over, right, during the pandemic. But one of the things that, if you're a content creator, I mean, a total disclosure, this happened because of the pandemic. Was doing, interviews for MMA and some pro wrestling here in Southern California for like the past 4 years, now being five. That COVID year is just kind of weird, but it was just a regional MMA and pro wrestling interviewer, right? And then essentially what happens is I kind of did a couple things on YouTube. My sister was here. You guys know Mara, right? Like, she was here. Yeah. And, we kind of did a couple things on Instagram. And then I think about June of 2020, a couple of my friends, shout out to the Keyboard Warriors MMA channel, they were like, why don't you come on as a guest? And I came on and it was great. And they're like, Woods, why aren't you doing this? And I was like, I don't like to edit. Yeah. Which is kind of the plight you guys are having, right? And they were like, no, you could go live, whatever, it's this thing, StreamYard, what have you. And I was like, and July 1st was my first one with Jacob Rosales out of CSW, who went on to fight for the LFA title and Dana White's Contender Series. And I think we're at 520 right now. And so but that's kind of the thing, right? Like, unfortunately, some of your restaurants or bars or different things, unfortunately went by the wayside, because of COVID, right? People's jobs or people just realizing, hey, I might have career opportunities when I put into me as much as I put in. I live in LA, right? Most people on average travel 90 minutes to work, and that's and then you spend 5, 8, 10, 12 hours at work, and then got to drive 45 minutes back home or what have you, right? So instead of doing that, why don't I start a podcast? Why don't I start a TikTok? Hey, people started OnlyFans. I'm not mad at them. You've got fighters and pro wrestlers that are making more in OnlyFans or T-shirt sales, right? Than they did, so they're not beholden to any one company. They can just do what they want, which is what you guys are doing.
Right. I mean, we enjoy it. When we started our channel, we also have our own channel. Mine is what is mine?
You changed
Queen's.
it.
Yeah, mine is Queen Palace, and hers is Cooking with Tari, and she get a lot of reviews on Cooking with Tari because she actually cooking and everything, and doing reviews on other people's food.
And stuff I haven't tried and stuff.
Right.
Wow.
And stuff she haven't.
But I haven't been on there in a minute because I've been on QT Gang. But I'm gonna start going doing my cooking channel again.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
so we trying. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Which I gotta ask because obviously, Tari, you said that you had a bit of hesitation, even though you had your own channel and what have you. There was a little bit of hesitation. Were you guys, pre-pandemic, considering starting a channel, or was this something totally pandemic based? You're like, we're gonna do it.
Pandemic based, yeah.
Well, not really.
Well,
when we first started, it was more about I told Tyree that she has MS, and so I told her she should tell her story. Like, you might help somebody out there, or whatever. And she actually did. She did a story time on QuTee Gang, and her journey when she went to the hospital and all of that. And
when it first started.
Yeah, and it actually turned into, well, let's do pranks, let's do food reviews, let's do mukbangs, challenges. You know, it just started look like it just started growing on its own.
That's brilliant, but and that's the thing. Sometimes you don't know how creative you are. There's like people. I don't know if you guys have it there, but Trader Joe's, right? It's a grocery store, and it has a very island theme, and a lot of their like signage in the store is actually drawn in chalk by somebody who's an employee, right? And that's one way that the creativity can blossom, right? That you might not know that's there, or you might have an art degree that you're not really using, or what have you. But same thing with like these internet-based, personality-driven TikTok pages. Like most people, like I had Nadia Sapphire over in the UK, right? And she is a pro wrestler, right? And she has an OnlyFans. And most people, like, the joke is, oh, ha ha ha, like, oh, I just started OnlyFans, and not realize the work. It's work. Like, if you lose a subscriber, if you want to make X amount of dollars and you're used to making X amount of dollars, you have to figure out a way to bring somebody else in and what have you. So all of these things are not as, I mean, like you said, it's not easy, but it's no different than working an actual job where you have to problem solve and what have you. And then, but now you're doing it for yourself, and it's unleashing, right? Telling your story that you probably wouldn't have told to anybody other than your significant other, right? And then unleashing it into the world, and then getting a bit of a response back, and it's positive. And like, I've been going through that too, and that's where the magic happens, I feel.
It is. Because, look, it also bring out talents you didn't even know you had.
Yes.
She didn't even know she could edit. She didn't know that she can do graphic designs. Because she have 5 beats, right? She loved doing beats. But it brought out, like, a plethora, how you say that word?
Yeah, plethora, yeah.
Yeah, of talents in her. And I'm like, look at you. So, and it brought out a couple of talents in me. I'm still learning. Yes. I don't have nothing down packed yet, but she just get on there and I'm done. It's posted. Wait.
It's like when I learn something, it's fast for me. Like if I see something, like I don't have to have like directions or anything. It's just if I see something, and I'm like, okay, I can do it like that, and then I just I do more with looking than reading.
Yes.
At directions.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like I can learn something like very fast if I look at it.
But that it inherently is a talent, right? And I mean, what we kind of look at like the Elon Musk and the the Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and what have you, as people who have done the same thing, right? Look at a problem, see where I can fit in and what have you, and basically use whatever skills and talents that they had and experiences that they had at that particular moment and try and do it. And guess what? The thing that they put out first, right, might not be the optimal, way about doing things, but it's something that you could learn and progress from,
Right.
and that's kind of it, right? To learn and progress from every situation that, comes your way.
Right.
So, what is mukbang?
Mukbang?
Yeah, because you guys
a whole bunch of foods.
Yeah.
Like a seafood mukbang, a chicken mukbang. It's just food in front of a camera.
Yeah.
So you're just eating it?
Mm-hmm. And it's something like, how commercials put up food commercials, they put up the food and they show
the foods
and things like that. It's like you just eating the food in front of the camera and making it look yummy.
Like if you looking at it, you're like, I want to try that.
Right.
I want to try
really
that.
Yeah, you're just making the food look and sound yummy.
You mean to tell me there's an avenue that I haven't even explored? Like I can eat and just talk about it?
That's it. You don't even have to talk. You just eat. Cause you gotta think about it. You have your audience out there. They just love to see you eat. You know,
it's a lot of people that like to see other people eat.
It's a lot of them. I'm one of them. I love to see a person eat and how they eat.
I was like, why is you watching somebody eat? But it's not like just watching them eat. It's like
it's satisfying.
It's like it's a difference in just watching somebody eat. Like I like the SMRs, the ones that has the crunch. I don't know. I don't know. I just like watching it.
Yeah.
That's definitely one way to do it. I like this is a whole world that I'm all like, I feel like the rest of the family knows that I'm just like kind of in my MMA pro wrestling brain and just like I've blocked out everything else. Like people are like, oh, did you know Disney Plus, blah blah blah, and I'm all like, I don't even know any of the movies on it. I know I got a hell of a deal where I get my ESPN Plus for the UFC and the 30 for 30s, right, and Hulu and Disney Plus for like $10 a month. So that's the reason why I have Disney Plus. The wife and kids, they love it. I don't think I've turned it on once. Yeah. So it's yeah, it's a whole new world. What is it? Wasn't it Aladdin, right? A whole new world, right? There you go.
A whole new world.
See?
What was that?
That was a girl.
Oh.
Wait. I thought it was
the one with the carpet.
Right.
With the genie.
What was one of the songs on there?
I couldn't tell you. I really didn't watch Atlanta like that.
So, yeah, because I mean, I remember the Magic Carpet Ride, and at some point it becomes a duet, right? Now, obviously, the one in the movie isn't the one that ended up becoming the song, but the song that got released was Peebo Bryson, the late great Peebo Bryson, and none other than Celine Dion, right? Which is, Celine Dion singing on soundtracks, man. Like a couple years after that, man, she would have, My Heart Will Go On with Titanic. So, she kind of hit her stride.
I love Celine Dion.
Yeah. Oh, she's great.
I love Celine Dion.
I don't know.
I love Celine Dion.
Yo, okay, so what is your favorite Celine Dion song?
Oh, my God.
Because I really don't know her like that.
Okay.
I'm Alive.
Okay. All right.
I love that song. And I got another one.
What's the words? The words. The words.
She's got the melody there. Okay.
It's all coming back to me now.
Yes.
That's my other one.
Yeah. No, that's great.
It's all coming back to me.
So and then that note that she.
It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah. Dude, Celine Dion. Oh man. For me, it's because obviously she has those where she shows her vocal talents and like you're right, like this operatic voice and what have you. Mine is actually that's the way it is because where she goes a little pop, she goes a little pop. It's just like it's funny, like those, especially those like singers of the 90s era, right? Like the mid to late 90s, even into the early 2000s, where I guess maybe their managers are like, hey, you need to go in this direction or whatever. Like you had Leanne Rimes going, covering the Leanne Warren, How Do I Live Without You? And then she's on like Coyote Ugly talking about Can't Fight the Moonlight.
Exactly.
Right? Or
that threw me all the way out.
Yeah. Or like
I was like, you know what? I had you back. Now you're up here shaking.
Yo, even Jewel did it. Jewel, like who will save your soul to do your mind, your intuition? Like it's a fucking thing. I was like, what happened there? Like,
and they slapping the booty. Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, you were the homeless, weird tooth gal that sings kind of pseudo country music, like, and then now you're talking about your intuition and slapping your ass with the halter top. I'm like, I'm confused. I'm really confused.
Right.
I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this. Like
But
even
I'm
like,
confused.
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know what to do.
like Nelly Furtado, right? Like starts off with "I'm like a bird," right, and then like promiscuous girl, like the fuck? What happened to the bird? What happened to the
The
fucking bird?
bird gone. The bird gone.
She fucking dipped that some bitch in a fucking fryer and some bitch. Like that is like and served it to her family as fried chicken. It was weird. It got weird. I'm not saying it's not a good hit, but that's what happens when fucking Timbaland comes into your life. You start getting some soul and shit.
Hey, you get some soul in there. You can do Michael Jackson's soul.
All right.
Come on.
Which I mean, I feel like this needs to be like you guys on QuTee Gang just need to go through like different artists, like and stumping each other. Like, do you know this song or whatever? And you don't even have to play because obviously there's rights and everything like that for the artists, whatever. So you can't like. I actually had a gent, Noah Lazarus, right? Who in the podcast he played his song on the fucking podcast, and I got a fucking artist rights violation. It was his song that he was performing. I swear to God.
Oh, that's messed up.
I'm just, so those, but I mean, there's probably a way that you could do it where, like, you put in the description, she's listening, like, Tari's listening to, I don't know, Celine Dion or Tom Jones or
It should
whatever.
be a way, but see, the thing is, like, YouTube used to be where you could play music on there.
Yeah.
Sure, they got YouTube music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you do get, permission, why can't you still play it?
Right.
Because we also know artists and we wanted to use his music and we also got permission from him.
Right.
To use his music. Soon as we put it in our intro and loaded it, we got a violation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird, because it's here we've gotten to a point of like media, right? Whether you call it social media, YouTube, whatever, traditional media, what have you, where like a lot of the ways that were in place for hundreds of not hundreds of years, but definitely decades, right? Every 10 years, right? Now it's getting a weird point, right? Like if you post a story of that same song, right? It'll allow you to do it on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, but you can't do it on like YouTube or Facebook.
Right.
And it's like, and then Instagram is owned by Facebook. Like that's one thing that I love when people are like, "Oh, I hate Facebook." Whatever. Join me on Instagram, motherfucker. It's the same thing.
Right.
It's the same thing. Like, but it's just weird. Where like it was probably originated for artists to be protected, right, and to make money and what have you, right?
I mean, I understand that, but my thing is like, hello, we just let it be the people. Can we just sample it just a little bit? Just a little bit? You mean tell me every like you got to get money every time it's gameplay?
Yeah. It's a weird time, And Haywood says the dudes at Ringside Podcast. Shout out to you, gentlemen. I hope you had a fantastic time last night in the greater New York area for wrestling. Everybody loves wrestling, don't they? Right? You do?
I see, but the thing is, I love old wrestling. The new wrestling,
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. Which, I mean, that's the thing. So, what were some of your favorite eras of wrestling, and also what were your maybe favorite wrestlers?
Oh my God! You go first.
Dun dun dun.
Me?
Yeah, you. Who's your favorite wrestler?
I like them all. I like the Rock, Stone Cold, well, I'm not finna say his name wrong. It started with an H.
Heart Foundation?
No.
Triple H?
Triple H.
It does start with an H, and then it gets followed by two other H's. HHH.
Well, yeah, it was. I can't name them right back off the head because I haven't watched wrestling in a minute, but it was a lot of them. I used to like it and I used to hate it because Friends used to come on right after wrestling. That's when I used to watch it, when Friends used to come on right. Like, the show will still be playing and Friends just popped on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wanted to see the rest. But that's when I was watching it. I was like little. But I liked it. And then I seen the nowadays the wrestlings. I watched it because Daniel watched wrestling. Okay. And he does wrestling things on his YouTube channel.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I started watching wrestling when wrestling came on in black and white. So
really?
I'm saying my age right now.
I mean, there's an app where you can turn anything black and white. You're 27.
When I was a little girl, my Uncle Benjo used to love wrestling. So who we used to watch was Hulk Hogan, Junkyard Dog, Andre the Giant, and Ric Flair. Mm-hmm. And that, them were the mainstream ones back then. Right. And so as time went on, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Ricky the Steamboat Dragon.
Yeah.
Mysterio. I like the Mysterio. Yeah. And it's another one I'm leaving out. I said Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? Ric Flair, he got on my nerves with that. Woo!
Yeah.
And the other one, ooh yeah,
Macho Man, of course.
There you go.
Randy Savage, oh yeah.
Yeah, Randy Savage.
Nobody ain't like Kane.
Who?
Kane.
Ain't
that his name?
Yeah, Kane. Yeah, the Undertaker's brother, of course.
Oh yeah, and I did like the Undertaker, but then he got too commercial. I like it when he came out and the lights go off, and then you hear it, dong, dong, and then the smoke come out, and then like and then the weird music come out,
in the smoke,
and then he come out and he had on this black what you call it, brown hat with a long trench coat, and he come out on the stage and just stand there.
Yeah, looking like Jeepers Creepers.
Kind of did.
Yeah, that's how Jeepers Creepers look.
But now he done lost that.
Well, it's
like that's the mystery. I like the mystery of the Undertaker.
Yeah, you know what's funny? The dudes at ringside said they were at Victory Pro Wrestling last night. Shout out to Victory Pro. But that was actually where I, as a young whippersnapper myself, he scared the shit out of me. 100%. Like, really? This motherfucker. Yeah, like, so my mom is from Fiji, right? And she always talked about, like, hey, in Fiji, you gotta check people's feet. Especially like women's feet, because like if they ain't got no feet, they might be dead, and you're just dancing with them at a fucking club. And I was like, oh shit, like, where the living and the dead walk, whatever. So when this guy is like, Paul Bear, oh my Undertaker. First off, like I found out like Paul Bear, right, and then he was my, I guess, adopted Uncle James, right, like a person who helped my dad out when he first moved to the Bay Area in San Francisco. But Undertaker came out right around the same time my Uncle James passed away, when I was like looked at the thing, and it was like pallbearers for my Uncle James, and then there's Paul Bear on TV. I was like, they're motherfucking dead. What the hell? Like, somebody should stop this. And then to make matters worse, right, carried the urn and then stuffed motherfuckers in body bags. I was like, I seen that shit on Matlock. That ain't cool. That like he just like this motherfucker, this dead guy is up and fucking murdering people and nobody's saying shit. Like what the fuck? So I'd run my silly ass into the bathroom until I heard like not the gong anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and they're like, Adam, you scared? I was like, no. I was fucking scared. I'm as a 36-year-old husband, father, and even grandfather. I'm not entirely convinced that if I don't shut off all the fucking lights in my house, that I won't hear a dong and the shrill of Paul Bear, woo, and the fucking Undertaker walking through a door. Fuck that. I'm good. But I'm basically trying to say it's still real to me, damn it.
Right.
Oh, it's funny because, like, you know, he's been on like Joe Rogan and shit like that. Him speaking regular, like a regular dude from Texas. It's like the weirdest, like my head, because he was that thing for fucking 30 years, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, but you know, to what you were saying, right? So obviously, you know, he had that, you know, the the Western mortician Undertaker look, right? And then
Right.
then they had the Undertaker versus Undertaker deal, right? When one was like gray and then one was purple. One was controlled by the purple one was controlled by the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and controlled by money rather than the dark side and whatever. And then I think it was like Mabel, right? Mabel from Man on a Mission, right? Who became Viscera. Fucking sat on his fucking face. And then he had to wear a damn Phantom of the Opera mask because he, like, his orbital, like all of this shit was fucked up. Like they were saying to reconstruct his orbital bone, they actually had to do like fucking chicken wire to recreate his whole fucking orbital socket. But if you look at like Phantom of the Opera Undertaker, he's wearing like almost like it's not a half Phantom of the Opera mask, it's a whole fucking thing. But underneath was a fucking shield because he was wrestling, and if he fucking got slammed wrong, his eye would have fallen out. That's real life, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then obviously, you know that he becomes a little bit more demonic in the Attitude Era. You know, putting on the symbol Stephanie McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin, respectively. He has the Ministry of Darkness. You know, like whatever, right? And then when that ends, I believe he leaves to kind of heal up and whatever, and then he becomes a little bit more truer to himself. Imagine this dude would like wear dark glasses, dark clothes all day, but he was just like this fucking biker from Texas. So that's where the American Badass era happens, because like he comes back, but he comes back a little bit truer to who he is as a person, right? And then I think it was like WrestleMania 20 when it was like him and Kane, right? They reignite their feud, right? And the 20th anniversary of WrestleMania, and he comes back as this hybrid. He's half American Badass, but also, you know, the Taker of old. So it's weird. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Yeah.
It started confusing me, and I didn't even know that either. I didn't even know, but it just one because I know I turned on the TV, and I was like, "Who is that?" They talking about that's the Undertaker. They ain't the Undertaker I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened? Did somebody clone him? What's going on? Let me know. But I just nowadays I can't. I try to get into wrestling, and don't get me wrong, I still keep up. Well, I don't have no choice but to keep up with who's who, because Daniel he watches it,
Right?
and he loves wrestling. What was that girl name? It was a girl wrestler that he loves, Sasha.
Did he make
Sasha
her?
Banks.
Yeah,
He made her.
he made her, got her figurine and everything. He absolutely loved her. So, and it's another one that he loves. It's a dude.
I forgot.
He got the action figure in his room.
I forgot which one that was.
Please don't say Roman Reigns.
Hmm?
Please don't say Roman Reigns.
No,
Is it
that's
Roman
not
Reigns?
him.
Okay.
That's not him. Why you don't like Roman Reigns?
Do it. Okay, you guys want to get into it?
Let's go.
Okay, and this is the character. I'm not talking about the real dude, Joe Anawahi, who's the son of one of the Wild Samoans, who's cousins with The Rock and Rikishi and all them, the Anawahi family. Yeah, like I'm nothing against the guy himself. I'm just saying the character, right? He fucking comes out in a group called the Shield, right? And the Shield were supposed to be badasses, right? But they're wearing SWAT gear. SWAT gear. How can you be a badass when you're wearing a fucking bulletproof vest? And it's not a real bulletproof vest. But I mean, why the fuck wear it if it doesn't, like, if somebody punches you in the stomach with a fucking vest, why wear it at all?
Right.
That person, like, I remember, you guys remember D'Lo Brown? He had a fucking chest protector with the fucking head and everything. When he went to the damn top rope and he hit that frog splash with that chest protector, you damn near died.
Yep, it messed him up. Didn't he break some ribs behind it?
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, with that being said, right, if Roman is getting punched in the stomach with a fucking theoretical vest, and he's like, oh, the vest doesn't work, take that some bitch off, right? So that's one, right? Roman Reigns, right? We know he's Polynesian and Italian, right? Where does that, like, I've got a Polynesian, like, middle name, and it's Kamakamida. Roman Reigns doesn't sound like Kamakamida. Where's the fucking apostrophes in his fucking name? He's not a real Polynesian, at least his presentation, right? Then he's a SWAT guy who has his cousins, the Usos, which is Samoan for cousin. They're twin sons of Rikishi, right? And they are from the penitentiary. Now, this guy, Roman, is a SWAT guy, but he hangs out with his cousins that hang out in the penitentiary. When have you heard a fucking, like, a G and a fucking SWAT person hang out? That, right? Right? And then Roman does a move called the drive-by. What SWAT person fucking does drive-bys?
Oh my God.
Right? Right?
The drive-by?
The drive-by. Where, I mean, it's almost like, so, his opponent is laying on the backside of the rope, again on the apron, right? Under the ropes or whatever, and has his head there, and Roman comes and boots him in the head, and that's called the fucking drive-by. But again, he's a SWAT guy doing drive-bys. What the fuck, right? Then
that makes no sense.
It makes absolute no sense, right? And then the damn theme music that he used to have was like, if I had a burrito and it didn't agree with me, it was shit. The fucking theme song was shit, right? And then now he's an actual, like, Polynesian, like, he's supposed to be the head of the table, and he's supposed to be, acknowledging his, like, Samoan roots and shit like that, right? But he's still wearing the fucking SWAT pants and the SWAT shoes, right? People in the fucking islands are walking around barefoot, not because we don't have it, by choice. Like, you're gonna fucking cut up all your fucking flip-flops and Nikes and shit like that, running on the fucking gravel. Fuck it, I'm gonna take the damn shoes off, right? This motherfucker has SWAT boots and SWAT pants with the fucking pockets, 80 pockets, whatever the fuck, right? And he's supposed to be a tribal chief. Yeah.
Okay. His storyline is all kind of messed up.
It is.
He don't know if he want to be SWAT, if he want to be gangster, if he want to be Samoan, if he want to do a drive-by, if he even want to scratch his head in the morning. He just don't know what he want to do.
Yeah. I can't. I understand what you're saying about, like, not watching today's product, but I guarantee you, there's enough wrestling, right, around today, independent wrestling. That's why I encourage people. People are like, oh, I don't watch anymore because it's shit. It's because you're watching WWE. Chances are, but I can guarantee you, I can show you a type of wrestling or a wrestler, right, that might not even be in the WWE. There's something that Vince McMahon will probably never look at, right, and go, this person, this promotion They're doing exactly what you fucking want, right? And it's, for $10 you can buy a pay-per-view rather than the $30-$40 that we used to pay as kids, or wait until the video or DVD came out and run to Blockbuster to grab it. Like, there are things it's never been. Hell, fuck YouTube. Like, I can send you links and shit of like old stuff, new stuff, what have you, MMA based stuff. Like, there's even one kaiju big battle. You remember like the old Godzilla films?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what they do in a ring. Somebody fucking creates a damn city, right? And two people come out like their versions of Godzilla, but like one is a cup of noodle, right? They in a cup of noodle, whatever, and they just fucking wrestle and destroy the fucking city in the ring. There's so much wrestling. Like, so when people are like, "Oh, I don't watch wrestling," I'm like, you just haven't found the one, like the one that made you love it in the first place. There's like there's even like Lucha Vavoom, where it's like, Lucha Libre, Mexican Lucha Libre, and burlesque, right? Like, you got go-go dancers going on, whatever the fuck. And it fits. It fucking fits that product, So there's some wrestling for everyone. I feel like I got to do some homework and like send some stuff to you.
So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What actually got you into wrestling, actually?
That's a fun one. So we were living in the Bay Area, right? And I think the way my mom told it, I was about 2, right? And my dad, her dad's brother, basically he was a street performer in San Francisco. He played music, right, on at the cannery in Fisherman's Wharf, right, in San Francisco. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, those were his days where tourists came and gave him tips, or he sold his tapes and CDs and what have you, right? So I think I was about 2, and it's a Saturday night, and my dad is working. I'm with my mom, and I had just fallen to sleep, right? Just fallen to sleep, and we lived in a Victorian apartment where, we lived on one level, and at the basement, that's where the laundry was. So my mom was like, "Hey, baby, sleep. Let me go ahead and, get the laundry and what have you," right? So I don't know what happened, but I must have heard the door slam or just sensed the fact that my mom wasn't there as a toddler, right? And I start fucking screaming, right? And the neighbors are like, "Oh, baby's crying, what have you," right? So my mom comes up, we're like, "Oh, Luvengu, Fijian for my child. Luvengu, what's going on?" Whatever, right? And then I'm just fucking out of it. I'm just screaming out my fucking head off. Then she turns the TV on, right? And she's like, "Oh, like Saturday morning cartoons," not realizing it's like nights, right? So she's flipping the channels, right? Nothing, no cartoons, no nothing, right? And then I stopped crying. And she basically turned on Saturday night's main event, the WWF Saturday night's main event. And it was Macho Man Randy Savage with Elizabeth versus Bret Hart, who is still a part of the Hart Foundation, with Jim the Anvil Neidhart, with Jimmy the Mouth of the South Hart, and the fact that, they had the evil referee, Danny Davis, and all of them fucking, worked on Mach. Like, the thing went 3 segments, right? They worked on Mach's knee, they fucked up his knee, and that was it. And for me, at the time, we were living in San Francisco in a Victorian apartment way above the ground, right? So I would be watching like Mighty Mouse and Superman and all that stuff, and I think my parents kind of saw the glimmer of my eye as I looked out the window. I'm like, "No, you can't jump out the window and fly," But here I go now finding wrestling, and it's superheroes in real life, right? Especially, like I said, Bret Hart was in the match with Macho Man, which that's what got me here, right? So I remember when Bret used to come to the ring, or his late great brother Owen used to come to the ring. They're like, obviously they come from a wrestling family. Their father Stu, he was a wrestler, and he was, a badass. He would take football players, weightlifters, and even one time of the year where they had a wrestling bear and he would choke out the bear. And I'm like, fuck flying and shit. Like a guy who can choke out a bear. I know what a bear is. I know they're not Yogi Bear, right? You know, they're not just stealing your fucking picnic basket. They'll rip off your fucking face.
Right.
That's just, right. So I'm like, this dude can fucking choke out a bear. Let me do that, right? And that's kind of what led to it. So when that's even the reason why, like, I got into boxing, because it was contested in a ring, you know, with Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., all that jazz. But then, like, the mid '90s comes around, and you know, even Brett would tell you that all of the brothers, you know, they ended up in wrestling or wrestlers, and all of the sisters, they ended up marrying wrestlers, like the Jim Dion von Einhart, British Bulldog, and what have you, right? But they would tell you that Owen was the best, right? He could do the Mexican lucha style, the Japanese style, the American style. He could do, and had personality to boot, right? So when this guy with a gray shirt and like 3 different belts that were not WWF belts, and he comes in called Dan the Beast Severn, right? And he comes in and he ragdolls Owen. And again, like, I was led to believe, you know, all the other shit, the fucking Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior and all that, that is bullshit, right? The Hearts are for real. So when this guy Dan Severn comes and fucking ragdolls Owen Hart, I'm all like, everything that I knew was a lie, right? And then Jim Ross would be like, you know, this UFC champion, Dan Severn, right? And Dan Severn is in the UFC Hall of Fame. And I was just like, I begged my dad and was like, let's get this UFC. Is it, because for me, I knew all the wrestling, right? I knew the Japanese stuff, you know, I knew, you know, the Mexican stuff and what have you. So I was just like, there's a wrestling that exists and I don't know about, right? And then think about what we knew in the '90s, right? We thought if you just lifted weights, if you're a football player, you're a badass, right? Well, you had Hoist Gracie, who didn't look like much. He looked like the damn scarecrow. And he's choking out motherfuckers in a karate uniform. Like, what the fuck is this, right? And that's kind of what happened. So if not for pro wrestling, I don't think I would be doing anything that I'm doing now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's something. It's something. But obviously, what has been your funnest, like the most fun and gratifying piece of content that you two have put out?
You go first, because I know mine.
The shampoo, the shampoo prank.
That's what I was gonna say. Our shampoo prank, not mine.
Okay.
Truly, shampoo prank.
What happened?
She put shampoo on my hair that I don't use.
I know. So she decides to take a shower or whatever for the day, right? So I was, on watching and just strolling, and I saw this prank. I said, you know what? I want to do that. It's the right time. So I went, got the shampoo, and while she was taking a shower, at the same time, I was pouring the shampoo in her hair. Because, she was like washing her hair and stuff. So I just kept pouring the shampoo in her hair. And she was like, man, she didn't even know I was in the bathroom.
My eyes was burning.
Oh, no.
And I just kept pouring the shampoo. And if you go on there, she was like, babe, help. She wanted me to help her. But she don't know I'm right there pouring the shampoo.
And it was slippery.
Oh, yeah.
But that
was the one I liked. That one.
Yeah.
She got me good.
Yeah. But what you had to, I mean, if somebody gets you, you got to have a receipt, right? What was your clapback to Queen?
The condom prank.
So elaborate. Come on.
Okay, so she used to work when we used to live in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
She worked overnight, and I used to drop her off. So I had came up with a plan that I was pretending like I was like with somebody else, and I had my book bag, and it had condoms and stuff in it. But it was a used condom open, so she thought
Ooh.
like I did something, and
So she
Ooh.
goes to pick me up with the bag in the front seat. And so I'm like, oh, because, in the morning time, because I would get off at 7 o'clock in the morning. So, she'll not bring me a snack or whatever till we get to the house to eat breakfast. So I'm thinking, it's some snakes in the bag or whatever. And I'm feeling around in the bag.
Mm-mm.
It was an open condom wrapper on the floor of the car,
What?
up under the bag. So I'm like, what is this? And so I go in the bag, and when I'm feeling around in the bag, what
Ooh.
is this? Yeah.
I had to say it's a prank because she was getting she was about to, I was about to be gone. I was about to be gone. Can't hear. You tell me you can't hear.
What you say, Adam? Your
I said
sound went out.
oh
We
wait,
can
hold
hear
on.
you.
Oh no, I was just saying as you were telling the story, Tori, like you could see the smoke coming out of her head. It's just it was yeah. Which again, like that's one thing that I wonder, right? When people go hard. First off, nobody should prank you because like that was just soap and slippery, right? And then you got back with like that could have precariously put the danger of your entire relationship
Right.
like right on the fucking cliff on thin ice. And
But
that was
see,
so like damn, holy shit.
you gotta set up boundaries, and that's what we done. But the
Mm,
boundaries are we can pray. The boundary is when we say if we tell each other it's a prank, then that's when you
Yeah.
have to let it go
And
and
then you got to show the camera like, hey,
right.
it's a prank.
It's
It's a
a
prank.
prank,
Because if you say it's a prank and it ain't no camera, she be like, so what a camera at? It's a
okay.
prank.
Yeah.
right. So like yeah, I, and
Pranking
all
her
our
is not
pranks,
easy.
every single last one of our pranks, they are real. Cause
I
Wow.
be scared. I be for real, like, cause pranking her is scary.
Really?
So that's why I
no,
got that.
it's not.
Yes, it is.
It is not.
That's why I have to prank her and be like, it's a prank before like she get like, cause you like,
I get.
That wasn't convincing because you did the eyes. You did
Adam,
the eyes. So
yes,
like
Adam,
I got
yes.
scared. There might be chocolate pudding in my dang pants right now, and it might not be chocolate pudding at all. That's what I'm saying. When you did the eyes, so I'm just
Adam,
saying,
yes.
yeah,
That's why I be trying to prank her and like get it out there because
yeah.
yeah.
Nah, I do not live you like that.
Yes, home, because if you go look at the prank, the stuff it says pranking queen and stuff,
Yeah.
that was like the first prank I ever did on her, but I didn't release it. But I
Oh,
had released it out of stuff like I pranked her and I did a stuff on her. But that first one, she destroyed our room. She destroyed our room because I said I was gonna leave her. See,
eyes.
look.
Yeah, her eyes. The giveaway.
Right. So that's
Right.
why I was like, I really don't like doing pranks on her because, like, oh my god.
Yeah. Which I mean, are there's because there's something like have you guys seen the saran wrap one in the doorway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to try that, but my wife knows where I live. It's not gonna end well for me, right? Like my youngest is damn near at eye level, in terms of my kid, right? Can't do it on him either. Like I don't have anybody to do it, and then also that And for those that don't know what we're talking about, so it's a prank where you literally call somebody to come over, right? And like, hey, it's serious or whatever.
They
And
running.
unbeknownst to them, they have you basically saran wrap the door. So you basically gift wrap the fuck out of them. if done right, right? But again, it could go wrong. It could go wrong. And also that receipt when shit goes wrong, fuck. Because they're like, you're gonna clap back. And you ain't it's not good. So
I mean, but it keeps the. I would say I clap back. We're goofy. I guess that's what we
you,
are
you
like
got
hello
so
goofy.
serious. So serious. I don't believe it.
So it's like her when we clap back at each other. It's not from long as you don't do it from a mean place.
I'm like,
So
she gonna get me, I'm gonna get her.
Right. And as long as you don't go below the belt, everything is like on the table. Whatever. Don't matter. Because when I get you, I'm gonna get you.
Ooh, Jesus. Whew. I got chills. I mean, it feels like I'm 7 years old and the Undertaker just walked out. Like like
no, I'm sorry.
I feel like the gong done hit me.
I'm not
No, you're not creepy, but can be equally as scary. So
I am not scary. I'm scary.
It's like if somebody do something to her, she will plot on that shit. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get your ass. I'm gonna get your ass.
I do not. I do not. I do not.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so total disclosure, right? Folks who don't know, Queen is actually my first cousin. Yeah, right. Our brothers, our dads are brothers. My dad Ross is her dad Quincy's older brother, right? So I know exactly what Tori's talking about because I inhabit a lot of the fucking same shit. I'll sit there and I'll fucking stew and I'll download and bam. Like my poor wife. My poor wife. Like if she walked out after 15 years, I'd be like, I totally understand. Because like
You're not going nowhere.
I hope not. I hope you're right. But I'm just I mean, I'm not I don't want to say I'm not the nice I mean well, but then once I get pushed to whatever, all bets are off, the gloves are off, the nails are fuck this, we're going.
But see, I get that because it's like people. Okay, I'm gonna say people. Okay, people will try you. You feel me? And then once it's like with me. Once you flick that switch, it's like okay.
It me.
Don't play.
It me.
Look at that laugh. You just heard that?
Yeah. There you go. Oh, let's change the subject because I don't want anybody killed. And Mary's like, I'm not leaving you, honey, for everything, but she does put a ghost emoji. So she won't leave me, but she'll ghost the shit out of me. Yeah. And I don't blame her. I love you. No, but I mean that's the thing. Which I gotta ask, not to give too much away, because obviously for people and hi fam. Yeah. But I mean, not to give too much away, right? Because obviously, for people that want to see exactly what you're doing, the links are right here in the description, and they should follow you to see what you guys do next and do best. But are there any things that you haven't tried and you're like, yeah, that's the next one?
There are a few things.
I got some pranks, but can't say that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tops.
I got some. I got some reactions to
Ooh.
give.
But I really do want to try. It's the food challenge, the fufu. The fufu, it's what it is, African.
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
goosey soup
A goosey with the fufu.
with the
Okay.
fufu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never tried that, and I wanted to try that.
Have you not at all tried like any type of African food?
Yes, I have my I tried the agusi, but not the fufu with the goosey, because my mom's husband is African.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know what's uh, Ethiopian food is kind of wild, right? So, because it's crazy. So, me coming from like my mom's side of the family, we're from Fiji, right? So we have curry, right? And even still to this day, my taste buds, right? Like like there's a place here in California called Grill 'Em All, right? And it's a gourmet burger place where they name everything after either rock something or wrestling something, right? And my favorite burger, every time I go there, I get the same thing, and it's called the D Snyder, and it's named after the Twisted Sister frontman D Snyder, right? But it's think of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you stick a fucking gourmet burger inside.
Hmm.
It's like most people are like "Ooh," or whatever, but if you've ever tried like Thai, the chicken satay with the peanut butter and everything like that, it's kind
Mhm.
of like that. But that's my taste. It's like the sweets and spicy or sweet and savory
Mhm.
because I grew up in curry where you've got roti, the flatbread, right, and then you got this spicy curry, right, and then you either nullify the spicy with some rice or even or bring up the heat with like a mango or tamarind chutney, right? So sweet, spicy, savory, all in one, right? And that's where my taste buds are at, right?
I am
But
hungry.
I know
Ethiopia.
you just made us hungry, Adam.
Oh, I'm sorry. We
But
gotta eat food.
that sounds like something I would try.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Because I'm always
no,
down for trying new things, and I never tasted nothing like this. So
yeah.
yeah, I would try these.
Which I'm almost saying, like you got to try the Ethiopian food if you haven't already, because it's kind of wild. Where a lot of the a lot of the this like there was one time I went to Little Ethiopia with friends, right? And
Mhm.
they brought out a platter, right? And it was just different types of food, right? And the food was bland, right? It was kind of bland. It looked visually like different color. There was like purple. There was like curry looking, like it looked like something that I mean, these are the days pre-Instagram, but it looked like something you would Instagram, right? And then, but if you just tried it by itself, it was like kind of bland. Then they have this flatbread, like we have roti in Fiji and whatever. Like it's called injera, right? And it almost tastes like if you made baking soda bread, but it's like a flatbread, like tortillas, like
Hmm.
whatever. And you put the what you would think the bland food, right,
Mhm.
in with the injera, and it's almost like it activates all the fucking flavors.
Oh
It's
wow.
wild. So I mean, that might be a thing. I know in the greater Atlanta area there's quite a few Ethiopian spots.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
But I
So
never. You know what? That's weird. I never went into it. I
mm,
never like, but I guess because like I was so, how you young, you used to what you used to,
yeah.
like soul food and stuff like that. When I started venturing out, tasting different foods. Actually, when I got in my 30s,
Okay.
that's when I wanted to try. You know how you watch the cooking channel and you see these different spots and different foods, and I know they got different smells, and that made me want to try different foods. So I tried an African dish. I forgot what it was. It wasn't. I think it. No, I think it was.
Agusi.
It was couscous.
Okay.
I tried couscous, and that junk was so good to me.
Yeah.
But it was so rich at the same time, so I
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
eat a lot of it. and I tried among other dishes. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make it my business not to say, because I was used to saying when people ask me, "Oh, you want to try this?" I was so used to saying no and not giving myself a chance.
Right.
Now I'm like, yes, I'll try it. To
And
get
if
my
it's good, it's good. If
right.
it's not, it's not.
It's just not. I'm not losing nothing. I'm not winning nothing. My taste buds will either be mad at me or want to fuck me up. It's
Yeah.
one either or.
No, I mean, and it's great, right? Which I mean, for me, growing up on like the West Coast, right, and like my dad, from Indiana, and he held it a sense of pride that he got out of Indiana. Nothing against Indiana, but at the time, look at Motown, right? Look at like all of those guys worked much like our grandfather, like on the auto lines, right? And at the time where my dad goes into the military, I think he was drafted in 67, right? And then gets out by 71, right? The auto industry would go belly up towards the end of the 70s and late 80s, into the 80s. I mean, look at Detroit. Detroit still hasn't recovered, right?
Right.
So there wasn't too much for him in Indiana. And I think that's why the family members that left Indiana, they stayed away, it was for that reason, right? So my dad comes out, goes to I think he was stationed in Korea during Vietnam, and then he gets brought out to the Bay. I mean, I think he landed in San Diego and then went up through, like he heard there's music in the Bay, so he hitchhiked all the way up the California coastline until he got to the Bay, right? So my dad, he was the one where he loved the fact that my mom was Fijian. He actually wanted my mom to teach us Fijian, but my mom didn't want to do it at all because of what she went through. Like most people don't realize, like I'm first generation on my mom's side, right? Because when she came in 82, even in San Francisco, which are pretty liberal, right? She was spat on because she sounded different. It's like Fijians, I mean, to put it simply, were like, black people with British accents, which this is 10 years before Downtown Julie Brown on MTV. So people weren't hip to it. Even when I grew up in Inglewood in the early 2000s, they were like, you're an Oreo, right? You're white on the inside and black on the outside, or Carlton from Fresh Prince or what have you. But I'm like, no, there's like a whole country of people that sound in variations of me. You look at any fucking Fijian rugby team, you'll see the starting 12 are different variations of me. One's skinny, one's fat, one's this, one's muscular. They all kind of look like me, or I look like them, right?
Right.
So, but I was raised on the curries from my mom's side of the family. Sushi, like that. I remember going to sushi with my mom and dad, or dim sum, right in San Francisco, and it's just like. So I was used to that. So when I get to high school and everybody was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to sushi," or like, "Let's go get some Indian food," like I wasn't with it because like I had the best at home. Like my dad was a chef, and I different family had different recipes, and those places didn't have those recipes, so I was never with it. But I like burger because burger I didn't have too much growing up, right? I had the other ethnic foods, right? So burgers to me, like that's it. I remember meeting my wife and she makes hamburger helper, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like, you mean the thing with the hand, the fucking puppet? Like, holy shit, you make that? And she's like, doesn't everybody? I was like, no, I didn't have that. Like or rice-a-roni. Even though I was born in San Francisco, never had rice-a-roni until my wife.
Wow, really?
Yeah, 100%. Because my dad, like I remember him making tacos. Like we had like not a lot of money, and he made tacos. He got like a $3 like pound of turkey, right? Some limes and oranges and whatever, and he had a food processor. He made like homemade tortillas, right? And tacos, and where he fucking actually ground the rind of the lime and the oranges into the taco. Like my dad would do that shit.
Wow.
So like again, but hamburger helper and shit like that. That I didn't have. So I'm like,
Wow.
shit, yeah, man. Like that's my shit. That's my jam.
And I love sushi.
What is
She
your
was the
favorite?
first one. When I got with her, that was the first time I tried sushi.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I
I
guess.
turned her out.
Hey, there you
The
go.
California rolls. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
100%. Which I mean, if you went to Japan, they'd be like, "Oh, whatever, that's not authentic sushi." But fuck, if that's the thing that gets you to the dance, where you're trying different things, or
Mhm.
an eel or whatever the fuck, then you know, let it be the gateway. Let the fucking gates open, right? Like,
Okay. Let them open.
And I ain't even gonna lie, it's good to me. I like
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Which
But
I
I
got.
would have never tried it if I swear I'm like, sushi, no.
And oysters, you try
And
oysters.
oysters.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Oh, okay. So that's a pretty. Like I want to know about that. Like, so what was it? Because obviously, yeah, you were saying that you didn't start to venture out until you were 30 in terms of your taste buds, and obviously Tori, like you also had a certain je ne sais quoi about certain foods. What was it? I mean, was it more the area that you didn't expose you to it, or maybe just a mindset? This is the one way to do food, or what have you? Like, what was it for the each of you?
For me, it was how probably like what I grew up, like how I grew up eating, like, soul food and
Yeah.
burgers and stuff like that. I wasn't like used to like the seafood and all that stuff. They be like, oh, that's too expensive and stuff like that.
Right.
And and that's like when I started eating seafood and stuff when I got older. Like
Mm.
I didn't like eat that stuff when I was younger. So when I got older, I was like, eat sushi. Like it wasn't like my main thing. Yeah, ooh, sushi, But when I got with her, cause she likes sushi, that's why she like a lot of stuff that I didn't, know of or ever like thought of, and she likes it. So I was like, I should try it because like I'm a cook, I like to cook
Wow.
stuff. So is you'll try different stuff now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I was so used to collard greens, cornbread, corn on the cob, because I was basically raised on a farm. So
Wow.
I didn't know about other things that I could eat.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, shoot, go out here, wring this chicken neck and pluck it and put it in some grease, and we're going to fry this baby up and we're going to eat.
Wow.
But as I got older, like I said, I used to watch. My grandma used to watch a lot of cooking shows,
Mm-hmm.
and back in the day, they showed you how to fry chicken and stuff. But as the years progressed, and the TV shows they progressed with the times, they started making different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, I wonder how that tastes. I wonder how that tastes. I wonder how that tastes. So as I got older, when I became an adult and, working and stuff like that, I was like, how you always wanted to try something and now you're like able to get it?
Right.
That's how it was with
Yeah.
me. I went to the grocery store, I saw it. Oh, I want to try sushi. I'm finna get it. So I got it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it was something like when you turn 21 and you get to buy your first bottle.
Yeah.
So I
No.
was that happy buying sushi. And
I get to buy my own sushi.
okay, I got my own thing. I can do what I want to do. And so yeah, and after that, it was like and I know my cousins on my mom's side, they like to go fishing off the boat, and
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
throw a net. They actually do net fishing,
Yeah.
and they'll come back with like oysters
Mm-hmm.
and crabs and all that type of seafood. And so my cousin was like, one, I think we was down there 4th of July. That was after my grandma passed. And we was down there and he was like, my cousin Sonny told me to try some oysters. I was like, I'm trying that.
Yeah.
You know. And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try it. And that by this time, I'm in my 30s. And I'm like, he was like, put some hot sauce on it and eat it raw. So I did it. I put hot sauce on it, put a little salt. And then he was like, just let it slide down your meat. And I did exactly what he said. Then he gave me some fried oysters. And those was delicious. Then he gave me some mussels.
Love mussels.
Oh, that
Right?
was my favorite right there. I stayed up all that night eating mussels. So for me, yeah, that was basically it. I love to try new things because you never know, and that's not only in food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's in life itself. Like I love to try. I like to walk on new territory. Like with this YT YouTube thing, it's new territory for us.
Right.
And I always been the type of person, if something makes me feel comfortable, I don't need to be there. I need to be uncomfortable so that'll motivate me to want more. You know, that'll motivate me to do better. Not want more, but do better.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
No, I love that. And, it's funny because, like, in jiu-jitsu, right? Like, think of everything. Like, you're going to have people sweating, especially, like, now during COVID. People are going to be sweating on me. People are going to, like, turn me into a pretzel. Like, somebody's ass in my face. Like, I don't, whatever. Like, all of those things, right? And as you're doing it, you don't even give a shit because it's just like, oh, I got them in I got their arm. Like, I'm going to choke them or whatever. And that's the thing. And, in good training, they say, success is being comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
Right.
Right? And the way that you deal with it, because you can freak out. Oh, somebody's ass in my face or whatever, and they choke you and they whatever, and and you never want to do that shit no more because you're like, oh fuck, I'm the shits, right?
Right.
But it's just like going through it and seeing what your boundaries are and pushing it, and pushing it, And it was funny because I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, I think with like Ben Shapiro or what have you, and you could say what you want about either guy, but they were saying like people who do stuff in this life that like people that think about computers, in the days where people are still using house phones and shit like that, like those are the people that fucking push the boundaries are going to be the ones that are going to have the lasting impact, not just on their community, right? Whether that be their family, their town, their government, whatever the fuck, but the world over, and that's the thing. And just like your guys' YouTube channel, right? Like you didn't know, right? And of course, you can gauge yourself by the metrics that they're like, oh, if I hashtag this, blah blah blah, whatever the fuck, I should get this amount of views. That's quantifiable, and like you guys were saying, like it almost made you want to quit. But then it doesn't. Like for me, like I kind of like I want people to watch, but I kind of like whatever, because for me, I feel like the content of the people that sharing stories, right? There's a little bit of QT gang in everyone. And they might not know it because they don't know that you exist. There's a lot of fighter or wrestler in whatever, or people that like these people, right? But don't know how they got there beyond a social media post or Wikipedia page, right? So like it's getting the stories, right? And it's wild, like most people think, oh, getting a big guest, that'll I'm gonna go viral. I've had big guests, and it's one retweet out of 100 things that person with the verified check mark has tweeted all day. So it might not transfer to my podcast, right? Or then interviewing somebody that might not be a household name, right?
Right.
And they get everyone in their town, their family, their state to watch it. And that does 3 times better than the big name, right?
Right.
But to me, it's all the same because it's the story. To me, when like people are catching Pokemon and whatever the fuck, like this is my Pokemon. Like people's stories, and figuring out how they, especially in times where I felt like a lot of people were getting drowned out, right? Drowned out by politics,
Right.
income inequalities, all of this fucking virus that is, like killing folks, and then maybe not killing, like all of this stuff, and the stories would get lost, right? So for me, I just like, I need stories, right? Because there's somebody somewhere that needs this fucking story. Now, whether they watch it live, watch it 3 years from now, I don't give a shit. That story's out there. I don't want to ask the prototypical questions that everybody has fucking asked. Whatever. Let's get a new take on whatever the fuck you're doing, which you guys are doing phenomenally well with it. So, without further ado, for people, well, first off, let's do it like this. So, obviously, you guys have gotten to a place where you could see, as you guys are talking about, this is your art, this is your craft that you're working on and getting better at. Who's motivated you? Like, are there some shout outs that you want to get up to of people that have gotten you to this point in both their professional and personal life? Let's get some shout outs out of the way. Take as long as you like.
Any shout out?
Well, shout out to my family in
Yeah.
Florida. Hey, you guys. I don't know if a couple of them on here, but I told them about, that was the other one. I didn't tell them about the one today.
This one is the secret one.
On all that social media platforms.
But hey, you guys, have my family and my friends from everywhere supporting our channel and stuff.
Yeah. Shout out to my family.
Shout out.
Both sides.
Both
And
sides. Woods and
Hamilton's. Yeah. And shout out to my son.
Yesterday, they went to the championship because he played football.
Okay.
So they went to the championship, but they came in second place. But that's good. That's good. That's good.
They worked hard.
Yeah, they did, because they was undefeated.
They were all season. They was undefeated, and they lost, but
it's okay.
Yeah,
they came in second, so
yeah. So I guess
they can. It's always another year to try again, because wasn't this is the first year that they went to the championship.
Wow.
So that was good though. That was good. They made it, but they didn't win. But hey, it's next year.
Yeah. Next year he'll be playing for high school. And then one of the high school coaches that was at the game that actually wanted him to come play for their school.
Wow.
Right. So that kind of stoked them up a little bit. But the fact that they worked so hard and worked through the cold when it got cold here, it worked through the rain. They put in a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. Them little boys worked their behinds off. And they put their absolute best in every single game they played in. And they put their hearts into it. But like I told him, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But as long as you got your heart into it and that you stay constant in it and motivated in it, Mama's going to be right there behind you, coaching you around like, woo, woo, woo. We're going to be right there sitting on the front row with our big old sign, go, So we are his number one, absolute number one fans. Number one, yeah. But all my shout outs is I would say, my family for number one.
QuTee Gangers.
Yeah. QuTee Gangers, because they keep us motivated on a daily basis. Because if we don't put out a video and where y'all at? They'll call some
No, they do direct messages.
yeah. Where y'all at? They DM us on Instagram. Excuse me, something wrong with y'all? So it'll be
that's what
our
keep us
gangers.
going.
Yeah. They keep us motivated. They keep us going. They even give us ideas. You know, we love talking to our gangers. We love, you know, get their feedback on what they want because we want to give them what they want.
Yeah.
You know, to keep them watching and keep them interested in wanting them to tell their family members and tell their neighbors or whoever, you know, to come and watch. So yeah, our gangers also keep us motivated.
I
So
love.
shout out to the QT gang gang. Gang
There
gang
it
gang gang
is.
gang.
There it is. Which and to Daniel's team, sometimes you learn more from a loss than you do from a win because maybe in a win sometimes it could, and I'm not saying this is the case obviously, but sometimes it could be a fluke. Certain happenstance that happen that earn you the win, and you don't necessarily, because you got that win, you don't necessarily go in and you know obsess over what you did wrong. Versus a loss, that loss stings, that loss
Right,
hurts, right,
right,
to the extent where it consumes you. And
right,
that would be the thing that makes him grab a 15-pound weight rather than a 10-pound weight, or
Right.
run a little faster, or
right.
do 4 days where he was only doing 2 practices a week, like
Mhm.
and like those things, right? Those things. So as much as like the deal about positivity, positive vibes only, sometimes you do the best shit when you're like, that motherfucker, I'm gonna show you. So
Right.
yeah.
And you're right. Cause like I know I did my best work when everybody see. I tell you, babe. I tell babe, I love to be underestimated.
Mm-hmm.
I love it because when I shine, you gonna have to put on shades. Cause you the
Exactly.
one who doubted me this whole time. You doubted me. You said this, that, and the third, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then when I do it, you be like, "Oh, don't talk to me, man. I don't want to hear that from you. You said what you had to say."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, that's it, and it's something that I use myself too. And I won't name names, but there are people like, oh, don't do wrestling, oh, don't do MMA, don't
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and it's just like, yeah, you can't. If you've got a dream and a
Mm-hmm.
idea for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you got to remember those people that are naysaying you,
Mm-hmm.
they weren't a part of your dream.
Mm-hmm.
Your dream is you and your art and standing on a, not so much a pedestal, but standing where you want to stand, doing the thing that you love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those people that are saying good, bad, or indifferent, they aren't a part of the dream,
Right. Right.
right? So,
Because that's your dream. You know what I'm saying? But it don't matter. Like, they can say what they want to say. Because with me, it do this. That's what it does.
mhm,
Because you don't, the reason why they hating so bad, because they don't understand your dream. They don't even get the concept of what you want, what
yeah,
you're thinking about. You know what I'm saying? And even if you try to explain it, you still won't be able to explain it to the point where it makes sense in your head, because in your head it does make sense.
right,
But when you talk about it, it doesn't make sense to the next man. Cause guess why? It wasn't for that person to understand.
right,
Because
right,
that's your dream.
right,
That's what God gave you.
yeah,
That's what God told you to do, gave you the talent for. That's the reason why they can't understand it, because he didn't give it to them. He gave them a whole another
yeah,
ball game, you know? So, do I say for anybody, if you're passionate about something, you got an idea that you want, don't listen to everybody. That's why everybody miss their blessing. Go with your own gut instinct.
mhm,
Go if you feel like that's what you want to do it. Don't be
yeah,
scared.
hmm,
That's when you do your best work. If it's
yeah,
scary, do it. I'm
hmm,
just saying like this. If you got a dream and you're scared to hop out there on faith and do it, do it.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you will not regret it in the long run. It may take you a minute to get it done. It may take you a minute for the seed grow. But when you plant a seed in the ground, it don't grow on the first day. It takes time for that plant to grow.
Ah, well, you're so wise. You're so wise, man. Which and that's the other thing about it, right? Like, and sometimes that's why I try not to give advice because, like, when you tell people something, right? It's like anybody that tells you different. I remember when I was in radio school, they were like, you have to have FCC regulation. You have to sell, $50,000 a week worth of commercials before you get airtime and all that stuff. And that was in 2003. Like 2 years later, we wouldn't need any of this shit because the first podcast started popping up, right?
Right.
You can't just talk about what you want to talk about. You have to do what our sponsors say and what the record companies, whatever. And you can only play this certain music because you're on this station and whatever. And that's what I kind of grew up with, right? And with that all being said, sometimes people are telling you just what they know. Maybe that at some point they, much like you, had dreams. Right. And then people are like, no, just get a job because you have a family, or just get, go to college because you don't seem like you have anything else to do. There's a fascinating deal where, like, right now we're kind of coming into it where some degrees, right, they're not equal, right? If you get a bachelor in arts, right, versus like a bachelor's in engineering, those are two different things, right? And you might be paying the same amount in terms of loans and whatever, but they're not. And especially when, like if you're, when we were kids, you used to see somebody, from your school be the paper boy, paper girl, whatever. Now you need a dang degree to, hand out papers or, So it's just like those things, people are just giving you what they know, right? But unfortunately, there's a whole world aside from it that you kind of have to get your own understanding of it, And of course, there's going to be some things, especially your relatives, right? It's most people, even in those like Mary Kay, Herbalife, multi-level marketing deals, right? They're like, your family. They literally say in the orientation, your family's probably not going to be the ones to fucking support you in this, right? Right. But it's just getting your own understanding of everything, right? And beyond. And maybe you could show that person different, right? And maybe that elder in your family, maybe it encourages them to get their degree or high school diploma or try for that job that they know they're way underqualified for and they get it and whatever. All you need is just like, one yes. It's amazing what one yes could do.
That's it. That's all you need. And you need hope and faith.
Yeah. I think George Michael and later Limp Bizkit, they said, you gotta have faith. That's there you go. But yeah. Oh, the Limp Bizkit version is a lot.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I'll send you links. Don't even trip. I got you. But speaking of, if anyone wants to join the QT gang, right, and see what you guys are doing on social media and all of your fantastic videos, I've linked them right here in the description. But I've said it once before, but it bears repeating. Go ahead and let everyone know where they can find you on the interwebs.
We are on Instagram under QT Gang.
Everything QT Gang.
Yeah, everything QT Gang. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. What else are we on?
Facebook.
Yeah. On Facebook, though, it's under Mia MIAL Woods. So we're up on that. That used to be my old Facebook, so I turned it into QT Gang's Facebook. But I haven't gotten to change the name to QT Gang yet. But yeah, that's where you can get us in.
Yeah. And one more subscriber, Kids Mary Wood, says, I subscribe.
Ooh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Welcome to the gang.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we can't thank you enough for you too. All the best, but I think this might not be the last time we do one of these things. So I'm just saying.
It's
That'd
not.
be-
No.
It's not.
No. You just named the time, the place. We love being in California. We're in California right now, baby.
Yeah.
We love the sunshine.
Sunshine,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Shining on us.
And high ass fucking taxes.
And we should actually come out there. Like we should actually come to Cali.
He said, "Come
I
on."
know.
on.
I think we'll love it out there. We should plan that. We
Yeah.
should plan that.
All right. That's all right.
Yeah, because I've never been to Cali.
Me neither. Oh, that'll be another first for us.
I've never been nowhere. Georgia is my first state I ever been to.
And then she went to Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama.
Wow. It's funny. I mean, and our condolences, obviously. Your dad, QuTee, my uncle Quincy, passed away. And it's crazy because like in the time that my wife and I have been together, we have never been anywhere. Our kids have never been anywhere because either we were broke or I was working, right? Or we didn't have a car. So, as a catalyst, and to me, I feel like it is like the spirit of your dad, who's a truck driver, and went all over the country and what have you, that in his passing took my family on we saw 9 states. It was crazy to see that Owen was learning about the states and whatever. And then I'm literally like, here we are. That place that you couldn't pronounce, here we are. Like, we're here. Like, get a damn, I don't know, Snicker bar or a patch that says you're here. Like, and you can't, when you go back to school, you can't say, I didn't do anything over the summer. Of course, it was a horrible instance and what have you. But, like, look at all the fun that we all had together, So, and I feel like that's kind of his spirit, kind of just, hey, you guys got this.
Yeah. Actually, I got him. You remember getting this picture of it? I got him here in the living room. Really got to hear it.
It was so
Yeah.
But yeah, we put him up in the living room.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's Uncle Quincy. That's
Hey, Quincy.
yeah.
Wow. He is truly mixed.
Yeah.
He is truly mixed.
You know what his you know what he would call me?
What?
Even until the last time I talked to him when he was in the hospital, but it was either, hey hero, or what's going on, Adam at? Or 1 Adam 12, where you at? Like ever since I was little. Yeah, exactly. Ever since I was little, up until like me as a grandfather of my own damn self, right? That never changed. So this, yeah. So, and it's through his oh yes, and oh no, I love and miss you, Uncle Q. Love and hugs to you, fam. No, and crazy enough, when my dad passed away in on Christmas 2010, that's why the holidays are always weird for me, because growing up, like I think the last normal Christmas that I had before we left the Bay was, I think I was 7 or 8, and then after that we were moving all over the place. We did a stint in Lithonia, Georgia, with Uncle Q, in the mother-in-law suite, in the back of the house and what have you. But like for me, my dad passes away, Christmas of 2010, and my mom passes away December 4th of 2013. 3 years apart from each other, both sudden. Dad heart attack, mom brain aneurysm. And so like, it's always hard. So if anything, grieve your own way. Like that's the thing. Sometimes there's days where it's just like, you don't want to do stuff. Sometimes you want to get your mind off of things, and you do everything and run yourself into a tizzy. Like it's all good. Because for me, Jesus, man, everything that I'm doing is almost like it's almost a tell. Like, hey, I miss my parents, man. I hope they're proud of me. Like
Yeah.
that's everything that I'm doing. So that's why I leave you with that. It's just like there's no right or wrong way. Sometimes it'll hit you. You two have a fight, and you just like and you cry, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's like, no, I miss my fucking dad. Like that shit happens, and
Yeah.
it's dad passed away
And
11 years ago. Yeah.
that happens now. She'll be like, well, "What's wrong? Why are you crying?" I'm like, I don't know. And it's rough.
Yeah, no, it happens, but that's the thing. There's no right way to grieve. Like I'm still fucking doing it. 11 and 9 years respectively, or 8 years respectively. Coming next month, really, right? So there's no right or wrong way. So you do it, and just there's some people who are like, hey, check in on me or whatever, and then there's sometimes where you're like, leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
It's all a part of the process, and then when you're telling people to leave you the fuck alone, what you're really saying is, please help me, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you go like, why isn't anybody helping me? And that's the thing. There's no right way to grieve. There's stages of grief, that all of those things, and it seems super cliche because before my parents passed away, I would hear it in movies, hear it in people talking, like especially when somebody immediate, one of your siblings, but definitely your parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when they pass, it seems like a part of you dies with them.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. You are never the same. You're never the same, right? So it's what is left, right? It's what you do with that, right? Like when my parents were alive, I didn't do one interview, didn't do one podcast. I was 3 years removed when my mom passed away from doing my first interview, like 5 or 6 years. And this is the life that they wanted for me all along. My mom's father was a broadcaster, the first broadcaster, Fijian born in Fiji. My dad was a musician, right? So, this is what they wanted for me and what have you. And it wasn't until after they passed away did I start to do it. So like it's what if you're in pieces right after a passing like that, it's what you do with those pieces.
Exactly. Right.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, go ahead and follow them, QT Gang, on all their social medias. It's right here in the description. It's some fun times, and if you need fun times, they're your hookup, pretty much, right? Like it's all good, all good everywhere.
Yeah, come on. You want to try.
There you go. And while you're in the subscribing mood, go ahead and share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You two are subscribed, aren't you?
Oh yeah. All 3 of our channels.
Yes. Yes. And Mary says, "Love you guys."
Love you too.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, they're subscribed. I'm subscribed. I'm sure Mary's subscribed. Hopefully, I don't know. Not subscribed. But if you don't believe us, and I don't know why you wouldn't, well, here's Pro Wrestler Zeta Zang to help convince you.
Hey, this is Zeta Zang.